Hey everybody, it's me, Witch Joseph, and today I'm doing a short video. I'm trying to get back into doing my tarot series and some of my videos about tarot reading, and actually I'm branching out into other forms of cartomancy. I'm trying to learn the Lenormand method of card reading and divination, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. It's just so interesting. And anyway, one of the things that people often ask about is, how do I shuffle the deck, right? It seems like a very basic question and everything, but it is very confusing. Like when you're approaching an oracle, like how do you treat the cards and that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you 3 methods to shuffle the deck, and they're probably the 3 most common methods. So the first thing to do when you're shuffling the cards, getting ready to do a reading for yourself or for others, is to focus your mind on the question that you're asking. This is something that a lot of people, especially in the beginning, they forget to do, but it's really one of the most vital steps. And you have to clearly formulate your question and hold that in your mind while you're shuffling, because the idea is by shuffling the cards, you're randomizing the cards in a way that will answer the question that you're asking, and that can only happen if you're focused on that question. If you let your mind wander and you don't focus on what you're trying to divine with the oracle, whether it's tarot or anything else, you're going to get confused results, and that's often the most common reason people get mixed readings or readings that don't seem to fit what they're asking. Anyway, you focus your mind on the question that you're asking, and the first shuffle is the overhanded shuffle, which is probably the easiest, and you just gently you do the cards this way, and you can go backward or forward, or you can do it the opposite way like this, however's easiest for you. And that's probably the most gentle way to do it. A lot of readers feel like that it's more respectful to the cards to do it that way, because the cards don't get bent, they don't get, it's just not as aggressive as the standard shuffle. Of course, I know how most people treat their tarot decks. It's not something that, you can't fool me. I know what goes on. So the standard shuffle is like this. You'll want to do this. And I didn't mention this, but reversals, you'll want to randomize the reversals too when you're shuffling. And so when you split the deck to shuffle it like this, you turn one side this way. That way the upright and the reversed cards get randomized, and you're still focusing on your question. Ooh, 3 of Swords. Oh my goodness. So you do this a few times, and eventually when you've done it for a while, you start to get a sense of when the cards have absorbed the question, and when you're ready to stop shuffling. And then the other way, of course, which is really helpful with, if you're doing readings for a client and they don't really know how to shuffle cards at all, and I've seen that a lot of clients have a great deal of difficulty. Some readers don't let clients shuffle the cards. I think it's up to you. I always let the person I'm reading for shuffle the cards and focus their energy into the cards, because the cards are a tool. It's not going to contaminate them. It's just going to pick up their energy and their cards, and hopefully you're cleansing your cards and reconsecrating them regularly, so it's not really going to be an issue. But anyway, you focus on your question and you spread them out on the table just randomly, and then you put them together like this. It's not my favorite way to do it. I just think it's kind of messy, but it does work, and if it works for you, that's great. Also, sometimes when you're shuffling, a card will pop out, and I know a lot of people put a great deal of emphasis on that. Like if you're doing a shuffle and one of the cards is a jumper, oh my goodness, and flies out of the deck. Oh my goodness, look at that. And sometimes people will only read the cards if they jump out of the deck. I don't think that's really the way to go, but if it falls out like this when I'm shuffling, I take it as kind of a theme card or something that has to do with the question I'm asking, but it's not, I don't really give extra significance to this as opposed to what I lay out in a layout. because the layout is what gives context to the reading, interpretive context. And then, of course, I wanted to show you, this is the deck I'm learning on for Lenormand. It's much smaller, and the reason the cards are smaller is because there's ways of laying the cards out that you use the whole deck, which is 36 cards, and that takes up quite a bit of room. So people often prefer smaller cards for this type of deck. And this is the Bluebird Lenormand deck. It doesn't have the playing card associations on the deck, but it does have the method of distance rhyme. I think that's what that is, and it has the number, of course. And I really like these. These are kind of traditional. But I'm really enjoying Lenormand. It's a lot more literal than the Tarot. But with this one, you don't read reversals, and so you never want to randomize any of the cards upside down. But I just shuffle them this way. Just the standard shuffle. And that seems to work the best. I know that some people feel like that bends the cards and everything. Well, you know, reading your cards, using your cards over time is going to bend them. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not saying to be rough with your cards or anything, but don't be afraid to use them and to shuffle them. I think that's probably that's just overly cautious, in my opinion. That's just how I am. Something else that I do, and I know a lot of readers do this, but once you've shuffled the cards and you've got them all shuffled, then I lay them down in a pile like this, and with my left hand I cut them into 3 piles to the left, and then I pick them up with the right this way, beginning with the last card that was the last pile that was cut. And I don't think there's any kind of metaphysical reason necessarily to do that. I think it stems from when these were from playing cards, which are related to the tarot cards. And like when someone's dealing and you're playing a game of chance, a lot of times the cutting of the deck ensures to everybody watching and to the person playing that there's not been any stacking of the deck. And so it comes to be like, this is an assurance that this is a random draw. And some people say it's probably for luck, right? And sometimes the reader will let the client cut them if they don't let them shuffle them themselves. But it's an interesting thing. You don't have to do it. I always do it. I learned to do it that way when I first started doing it, and it's just stuck with me. I thought I'd throw that in there. So I hope that was helpful for everybody. If you found that helpful and you're interested in more metaphysical and occult topics, I'm going to be doing more videos along these lines. They don't call me Witch Joseph for nothing. So hit that notification bell and subscribe and hit that like button. As always, have a wonderful day and be kind and be loving. Let's make a better world. Peace.